trade war with the U.S., one of the big issues facing China as the National People's Congress opens on Monday. Let's get to our China correspondent, Tom McKenzie. He is at the Great Hall of the People in Tiananmen Square. Tom, good morning to you. We've seen the response from China when it comes to President Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs. It seems like they're still being quite rational at this point.
Yvonne, I think that's exactly fair to say and fair to characterise the Chinese response. They are trying to defuse these tensions because, of course, they're less concerned about the immediate economic impact of these potential steel and aluminium tariffs. They're much more concerned about potentially a broader sector-by-sector approach from the Trump administration squeezes on other areas, other parts of the Chinese economy that would have an impact. And, of course, what they're counting on the Chinese as having a decent economic backdrop, a decent economic foundation in which to pursue this deleveraging campaign. They got that in 2017. They're hoping that they're going to get it again in 2018, even if growth slows a little bit. 6.5% should give them a window to be able to tackle these financial risks. But if this trade relationship with the US really starts to deteriorate, then that could impact exports, of course, which could then further impact the economy and make that job that much more difficult. And that's why you've heard sounds from the Chinese policymakers like Liu He saying that he looks for collaboration with his counterparts in the US and saying that he wants to see talks here in Beijing with his US counterparts. But certainly this is going to be an issue that is going to be discussed in the Great Hall of the People amongst these 3,000 delegates that are arriving here in Beijing for the start of the National People's Congress.
That's right. Well, what about, Tom, though, or what have we been hearing from these delegates that are gathered together? What are going to be the big issues that they're going to be talking about?
Well, we're going to get the Premier Li Keqiang, who, of course, is going to be speaking at around 9 a.m. Beijing time and laying out this work report, which kind of sets out the policy agenda for 2018. That'll give us some steer. We have heard from some of the business delegates as well over the last couple of days. They've been here in Beijing over the weekend. We heard from the likes of Tencent's chairman, Pony Ma, saying that he wants to see artificial intelligence technology used to de-risk what he says are some of the concerns around online finance here in China. And we've heard from other officials as well. We heard, for example, from one of China's largest importers of soybeans, just bringing it back to the US-China trade relationship, saying that, yes, a deterioration in his trade ties would hit his business. He may have to diversify and pull in soybeans from other areas. There have also been reports over the weekend that China is indeed moving towards a super regulatory body, a body, according to Xinhua news agency, that would look at not just monetary policy, but macro-prudential oversight and financial oversight as well. So that confirms, at least seems to confirm, some of the reports that Bloomberg had, that we may get a merger of some of the regulators, possibly the PBOC, possibly the banking regulator and the insurance regulator, to create a body that has a wider remit over the financial sector here in China to try and close some of these loopholes that have led to a lot of risk in the system here. Clearly, de-risking is a #1 policy priority for the policymakers here. We're hoping to get some more details on how they plan to pursue that over the next few weeks.